quite a funny story, but you won't find it funny, 'cause you never laugh at anything I say. Your head is always fuzzy, you cannot see so clearly, beneath the stormy clouds, blocking your own way. You live for that one moment, till the sun sets in the evening, until you disappear into another world. And under your accomplice, life is never better. In any other way, your head is always fuzzy, underneath the clouds. Bless you always seem to find your way. You live for that one moment, till the sun sets in the evening, until you disappear into another world. You reminisce your past, but it would never last. You try another day, the cycle finds its way into your own mind every other day. You live for that one moment, till the sun sets in the evening, until you disappear into another world.
All right, can you hear me? Oh, we're at this problem where I can't hear you again. Let me double check my settings. How about now?
Hello?
Hi.
Oh, hi.
No, we can hear each other.
Okay, I'm having issues getting my headphones to connect though. I'm not talking with my headphones. Is it not working?
I think they can hear you on stream though.
Okay, sorry. The sound is good. It's not, yeah, the headphones aren't working, but as long as everyone can hear me, then that's fine.
Yeah, they can hear you.
Okay.
I've got a new microphone, so I was just playing around with it a little bit before stream, and I've put a little noise gate on it to try to block out some of the sound from the vacuum pump. So it says might go as loud. Let's see, I can.
That is loud. That's how dare you?
I didn't say it.
Midnight. It was a midnight.
All right, how about now?
Am I still loud?
We'll have to wait a second to see what she says. As per usual. Oh, that's better. Okay.
I know, cheeky, right?
Really? Okay. Let's see. We can hop over to the scene. Now people should be able to see me. Instead of just the whirling actinopticus of death. Oh, let me do something for you, which is this. So chat won't be able to see what I'm doing, but it's easier probably if you can just see right into the SEM
Ooh,
here.
yeah.
Hopefully this computer can handle doing all that. Yeah. So you should just be able to watch it in the Discord if you'd like.
In the Discord,
Yeah. I'm streaming the SEM directly into the Discord so that you can see it like real time.
yeah.
And then
Hang on.
if you want to have the Twitch chat, you can just
Yeah.
pop it out or whatever.
That's really cool.
Yeah. So you should be able to see what we're looking at.
Oh, thank you.
Okay. If there was anyone that is loud, that would be me or the dogs.
That is correct.
All right. So I picked up a couple of, for people out there who are watching, I picked up a couple of mushrooms from my yard today. And I've been threatening to do a mushroom stream for a while. And to have our friend Michael Learning here with me while I do it so that I could actually, so it could be educational rather than, look what we're looking at a thing, Here's this thing, and here's this other thing. I'm going to try to make it so people can see what mushrooms I have in there. This little tiny mushroom that I found, it was actually kind of dried out, but I would just tell people mushrooms are a giant pain in my butt in the SEM because they're super wet, and I think they should be able to see this mushroom on screen.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there's a larger one that I have from my backyard, and a little one that was dried up that that I found with my daughter while we were out. On the weekend, my cat caught a mouse, and I managed to get it to let it go for a second, and then it started hopping around like crazy. And I had a cup and a bowl, and I was blocking the mouse. It was like on our landing, so it just had like a limited place where it could escape to. There's a cat on one side and me on the other side with a cup and a bowl. And I was trying to I was gonna try to use the bowl to trap it, right? But it was jumping. It was a field mouse, so it could get up maybe a foot in the air. They're pretty good jumpers, and I managed to sort of keep it on the landing for a little while, and then the cat got it again, and I tried to get the cat to let go of it, and then anyway, so it went jumping like mad, and it jumped right into the cup in my hand, and so, so I caught it, and then I put the bowl over top of it, and we walked it over to a park that's maybe 2 blocks away, so that it wouldn't get back into my house. If I just let it outside, I think it would just come right back into my house. So, so anyway, on the trip over there, I found a mushroom, and it was this little white one that's all dried up. And then these, I mentioned it to my daughter, and she's like, "Oh, we have these really cute little mushrooms in the backyard," which are the top one, the larger one that's orange and looks like it's splitting. And so I grabbed one of those, and I put them in the same bag this morning. And when I got to school, it wasn't in there maybe an hour, and I went to take them out of the bag, and they were both totally wet because mushrooms are very wet. And hey, Evan, welcome in, and also Fall Machine, hello. And it had rehydrated the dried out little mushroom, and Forkboard, thank you for the subscription. And so I was like, oh no, now I've got 2 wet mushrooms on my hands. So, one of the problems in trying to put mushrooms into the SEM is because they're so wet, I'm trying to put things into a vacuum, and then, it just pulls the water vapor out of the mushroom and ruins the vacuum pressure. So, I have a couple other pieces of the big orange mushroom or yellow mushroom that I had to take out because I couldn't actually get enough vacuum pressure with all of the mushrooms in there. It was just too wet. And so I had to take the two larger pieces of the orange mushroom out of the chamber before I could get enough vacuum pressure to actually run the SEM. And that's a normal problem with us with mushrooms, is that it just has so much water soaked into them that the really thick mushrooms are basically impossible to stick in there because it just pulls all the water out of them.
Did
So
you have them drying for a while before you put them in, or did you just put them in as they were?
I actually chopped them up while they were still sort of wet, put them on the mounted slide material, and then I put them on. I had little fiber optic lights that we use to look at things with the stereoscope. And so I put the fiber optic lights like beaming down on it, which kind of like heats things up a little bit. It's not a lot, but it's the only thing I could do in this lab space that I had. And I had them in there for like, I don't know, with the light pointed on them for about 2 hours. And then
Sorry, that's the dogs if you can hear them.
slight disturbance is all we really heard. Hey, Samshung. Thanks for hopping by, and also Science Streams is here. Thank you for coming in. It's a good thing my Leorin board just does automatically shouts out people, so I don't have to do anything, because when like 6 people come in right at the beginning, I have no way of keeping up with all that while I'm trying to talk about my cat. So in any
Hey,
case,
Studio Codex. I missed that too. Hello. She says hello.
Studio Cornix is here as well. Exactly. I can't even keep up with it. It's just like full of streamers and subscribers coming in. Thanks, everybody. Somebody made a comment about my cat, which I didn't see. Sounds like a puzzle. You are on the landing with a cat, a mouse, a cup, and a bowl. Exactly. That's exactly what it was like. So I had to... I thought I was going to be clever and capture the mouse somehow, and instead it caught itself. So, and I looked really brilliant to my daughter, which is all that matters to me, because she was like, "How did you do that?" And I was like, "It just jumped into the cup." But it was fascinating, because it was like a foot off the ground, and it just jumped right in there, like bullseye. Anyway. What the heck? It's Cyanide Teacups. I haven't seen Cyanide in so long. Welcome in, Cyanide.
Mushies.
I guess if you just pull out the mushrooms, you get people showing up.
Oh, yeah.
So, not to put you on the spot, but do you know what these mushrooms are?
Well, the top one looks kind of like a russula to me, apart from the stem looks a bit too thin, maybe. The top of it just looks like a dried out russula. And then the bottom one, I think, has black spores. Is it black underneath?
Yeah, very black.
Yeah, so maybe like a Caprinus or something like that.
Yeah, I don't know what any of those words mean. But the top one is not dried out at all. It's very wet.
Is it? Okay.
Yeah, it splits like that. What do you call the top part of a mushroom? The cap?
The cap, yeah.
There's one that was in the yard that still had the cap that had not sort of exploded like this. Corkboard? It's just like subscription, subscribers, people talking, and I'm just blabbing about mushrooms. The top part of the mushroom cap of the other one in the yard wasn't split like this. I thought this one looked kind of cool, but when it was a little bit more like dome shaped, and then when they start to stretch upward, they rupture like this.
Yeah.
So,
okay.
all the other ones except for the one that was... I tried to take one that I thought, oh, it'll be easy for me to get in there and collect some of the mushroom bits.
Yeah. Does it have a ring on the stem?
I don't know the answer to that, but I don't think so.
I can't, like, from this angle, I can't see one, but...
Oh. Hang on a second. I can fix this. I have a second image, which may be helpful. This is the underside. So you can see the top is the bottom now, and the bottom is the top.
Okay.
So,
Yeah, so it doesn't look like it has a ring.
there's an Indiana mushrooms.
Oh.
Studio Cornix posted a link in the chat of a
What?
possible Indiana mushrooms. So I don't know if that helps. But it also doesn't matter because I won't know what words when you say the words, they won't mean anything to me. It's like when I start
Okay, well,
talking
so
diatom
we just
genera.
kind of guesses at the genre, yeah.
Well, I'll let you stare at it a little bit. And then what I did was I took I have these like micro scissors that I used, and I cut a little bit of uh, the, the cap apart for both of them. And I tried to mount top and bottom. And then for the bottom one, I got a little piece of the stem, the outside of the stem. I clipped a piece of it. And I also clipped off what are these things, gills? The
The
long.
gill, yeah.
So I clipped off some of the gills and I laid them on there like flat
Cool.
for the big one. And then the chunks that I took off that were the top and the bottom where you have like the whole thing, those are the parts I had to take back out of the SEM because they just had too much water because the cap for that one is very thick and it was very spongy. So,
Okay.
but if we get through all of these, I can actually swap those two into the chamber. It doesn't take that long. And
Okay.
we can see if it'll pump down with like the gills showing for this one, but we might not need it. So
Cool.
I think we can get to it without that. So what's going on? Okay. So what we're looking at right now in the SEM is actually the one with the black bottom and the light colored surface. And we're looking at the underside, the gills side. And I'm going to zoom in. So we're way out for an SEM. We're at the maximum distance right now.
So that's so the right-hand side, is that like the edge of the gill?
I don't know if I had any where I actually have the edge of the gill, but if it is, it's down here, yeah. Is that important?
There'd probably be more stuff on the edge of the gill.
Okay. Well, so this is just the whole underside.
Okay.
So these things are the gills. These like long linear things are gills.
Right. Okay, yeah, got you.
And I think this is the outside of the cap, but I'm not positive about that. I may have just cut out a segment of it because this looks like the cut side over here. So
Yeah.
we'll just dive in.
Yeah.
You can already see all of these are spores, I'm assuming.
Maybe.
They look like blood cells.
Yes, spores. There we go. Yeah. Like, it doesn't look like a spore. Now it looks like a spore. Oh, very cool.
Right. So
They do look like blood cells. Like
look a little bit
beans.
like them, or beans, yeah.
Oh.
Let me see if I can fix this image quality. So part of the issue is from my end is that well, this one's still probably just a little wet, so there's going to be some distortion associated with it. The other thing is we're actually still kind of quite far from the sample, and we don't have to be. So I'm going to zoom us in a little bit, which will help with the magnification.
So that little dot bit there on the spore, I think, is the germ pore, which is where germination occurs from that little dot.
Okay. Let me fix our field of view a little bit. So I raised up the stage so that we're a lot closer, which will improve our image quality quite a bit. This thing is the germ pore.
I think so, yeah.
So you're probably not used to looking at stuff in a scanning electron microscope for mushrooms.
No, this is far too much detail. I don't know what's going on. I just know, like, so in the light microscope, you just see like looks like a little dent in one end. Which I guess, yeah, must be that.
Yeah, so there's like a divot there's a round side and like a concave and a convex side, and then
Mm.
and then there's this little hole on here in the bean. It's about as good as my focus is going to be at this height. So scale bars at the bottom, that's 10 microns. So in a light microscope, if you're looking at it in a transmitted light microscope, you can see 10 microns pretty well. But the actual pore is like sub-micron. So you might not actually be able to see that very much. But you can
No.
see in profile, it's this piece right here, it looks like, maybe.
Yeah.
So there's a whole bunch of them with that. Sometimes they're like inward deflected and sometimes they're outward. I don't know what that's about.
Yeah, or is it the one on the left, like that's kind of behind the others?
Here.
Looks like there's what is there one on each side of the same? Oh no, there isn't. It's just one on one side. It looked like it had a bit behind as well, but it maybe not. Yeah, okay, so just on one side, but not always the same side. Interesting.
So are they normally this shape, like blood cell shaped?
Some of them are. There's all kinds of different spore shapes. So some of them just look like they're round and they look like spiky balls. Some of them are like square or diamond shaped. The russula, I don't think that one, not sure that other mushroom is a russula, but russula spores are very cool. They're like spiky balls. Some of them are just completely oval. Some of them are nearly round. Yeah, there's all kinds of different shapes.
All right, I'm gonna start this and take a picture. Also, I lowered the beam intensity a little bit for us today, so that because we're just looking at the surface of stuff. And I'm gonna try to see what chat has to say. Let's see. I don't know if you're following them.
No, I have fallen behind.
That's okay. That's what I'm always doing. Let's see. What's on the slide? You have the audio off for a bit. Sarah, we're looking at mushrooms. Yeah, if you say the word cat or mushroom or squirrel, there's just words on here that will make emotes appear. So diatoms is one of them, by the way.
Squirrel? I haven't seen the squirrel one. I want to see squirrel. Hang on. Oh, there it is. Oh.
Just getting people typing magic words constantly. That's all right. It's good. Yes, but what mushrooms? Oh, these mushrooms from my yard. So we're looking at this white one at the top of the image, the top image here, and we're looking at the underside of it. So, and I think Microlearning had some idea about what that is.
The top one I thought might be some kind of Coprinus genus, maybe because it has the black spores, and the bottom one initially I thought it was a russula, but now I'm not so sure. The stem looks too thin, so yeah, don't know on that other one. Mind of a snail says snail. You got no picture for snail. It's not a magic word, is it?
I think it is. I think a
It
snail.
is. Did I just miss the snail?
I think there was a snail. It passed through. Yeah, there it goes.
There's not a good eating mushroom. No mushroom is a good eating mushroom if you don't know what it is. That's absolutely for sure.
I wish there was a hippopotamus one that showed up. That would be a good one.
Ah, the snail. There we go. Cool.
I'm just gonna have people saying random animal things in the chat, and no one will understand what's going on. When they come back and watch the feed, they'll be like, "Why was everybody just saying animal words?"
What sort of game is this?
Trying to find all the secrets. Really, you should start with something easy, like Bob Ross. You know, like if you want to pick something, clearly there's going to be a Bob Ross one. Right. So what are these? What are these deflated-looking things?
I don't know. I'm trying to work out. Because it's not the structure that produces the spores, because it doesn't look like that, but I don't know what that is. Because it's just kind of everywhere, isn't it? Unless it's just like the surface texture of the gill.
It might be.
I don't know.
They could be
Um,
collapsed spores, like dried out spores. No, maybe
mm,
not. They look like they're
I don't
part of
think
the.
so. No, I think because if the spore can just last for ages, dried out, and still be absolutely fine. So I don't think they collapse like that. Um, Intriguing.
Okay, well, let's say we cruise around a little bit.
Yeah.
So it does look like it's all over the surface. There's a
Yeah.
texture that's there. What does the structure that produces the spores look like, and why can't that be it?
So the spores, so that the guild mushrooms are basidiomycetes, which means they produce spores from basidia, which are like usually quite a long cell with 4 points on them, two or 4 points called sterigma. So it would be quite distinctive.
Like this thing,
Um,
because it
so I'm
seems
hoping
to.
we might see one, but
This seems to be attached to a bunch of spores.
there, yeah. Oh no, it is. It's just kind of flattened. I think those are the sterigma there. Yeah, that's it.
Well, it makes sense that it's flattened because everything's in a vacuum. So
Yes, right. Okay. Yeah, I was looking for something sticking out and it won't be sticking out.
it turns out when you put things in a vacuum, they behave a little bit differently, especially if they were used to be full of water.
Oh, that's really cool.
Okay, I'm gonna do this, get the detail up where we want it. And I think it's probably okay focus-wise, but let me play with it. Let me make a decision about how good it is. Somewhere in there. And then we can take a picture of it.
That would be very cool. Yeah, it's nice to see them this clearly. Normally it's just like a blurry blob though. Like, does that have points on it? I'm not sure.
uh, let's see, now I've got Bob Ross in the chat, of course. Um, let's see, you should. Oh, that's for Devil and Mrs. J. Hello. Are you able to zoom out more? Oh, the picture's as far out as we could probably get, and I don't know if the SEM's not going to help somebody identify a mushroom. Probably that link that Studio posted might be the best option for us if somebody looks through that, especially somebody who knows something about mushrooms looks through that and then gives us a name. We probably would be able to tell a little bit easier. So.
Yeah, right, let me get that link up.
You never know. We may have other mushroom experts in the chat.
It would
Uh,
be good.
I don't see any yet, but
It would be good to at least just get the genus would be nice, but even when mushrooms are fresh and you have all the information, that's still really hard. So,
it's not like diatoms. Diatoms are super easy.
are they?
No.
I don't think so.
Let's see. I had a friend who had a hedgehog named Luther because of his diet of worms. Oh. What does Luther have to do with eating worms? What don't I know? Let's see. It's not the best resource. Oh, Studio's actually out here doing research for us.
Hey.
She's trying to find us a good resource. I know that there are a lot of people in Indiana who go out and do mushroom hunting, but they only really care about the morels, so which grow here and in abundance. Like people come back with like giant baskets full of morels, and then I don't know if they sell them or if they eat them. I think they're mostly collecting them to sell them because they're worth a lot of money.
Mm.
So this is actually a really good question for you. Do you eat a lot of mushrooms?
Me,
Yeah.
I eat mushrooms that I've bought, yeah.
Like from the store though. Like is it like but do you eat a lot of like do you put mushrooms on a lot of your food or whatever?
I do because I'm vegetarian, so, you know, there's not many options.
It's the default for you.
Evil. But yeah, I do like mushrooms. I do like mushrooms.
What is the name of the structure again?
The basidia and the things attached to the spores are sterigma. I think it's basidium, one basidium.
I'm guessing at what they're spelled like there. I'm just trying to put labels on stuff.
Oh, okay.
I'll send these to you when I'm done. But
Yay.
it looks like let's see. If you look down here, it looks like there's another one that's connected to a bunch of them. It looks like there's
Yeah. Oh,
one
yeah.
here, and there's one here that's connected to a bunch of them.
Yay.
And it looks like maybe this is one as well, because it seems
Yeah,
like
totally.
they've got like a little connection point.
So I wonder, I guess that must just be, like, say, a collapsed one, like the other structures that you just look like a kind of disc that was collapsed. Maybe it's a collapsed one, or maybe it's just other parts of the, like the rest of the gill, like the hyphae.
Yeah, maybe, I don't know.
Not sure.
They don't look like those other structures at all. They look like something else. So
Yeah.
these look pretty distinct. They look like they're actually kind of standing up off the surface. So
Yes. Yeah, they will be. Well, they would be until they got vacuumed.
right, everything looks like a deflated Christmas lawn ornament once you put it in the SEM. So that's a normal pattern that I'm used to. It's like, oh, this thing looks like maybe a trash bag that used to be a tardigrade or something. Yeah, so you can see that's actually pretty distinct. This boundary between where the spores are, I guess, still growing, and
I don't know.
up here where they basically evolve, they're all absent.
Yeah, maybe you've got a bit of the gill edge there, although they would be growing on the gill face as well.
Yeah, so this is a gill here coming through, I think.
Yeah.
So they're basically concentrated around this edge.
Yeah.
What are these big things?
So is that not the gill edge? No, not
These things are the gill edges, right? These big things.
big thing.
What's like this thing?
I've kind of lost my bearings in the mushroom.
Well, I'll zoom back out. Maybe it'll help. So these are gills, these big things.
Those are gills. I thought we were.
And then this is between the gills, right?
Right, so that's a gill. No, that's the gill. That's between the gills. Or that's the gill where your mouse is now. Are you saying that's gill or
I think this is between. I think
between?
these are the things that are standing up on the surface, which I would think are the gills. I don't know. I'm not a mushroom expert, so.
It just looks weird in this picture. I can't work out which is gill and which is.
Oh, you know what it is? These are like gills that have fallen over, I think.
Okay.
Because I think this is like this whole section is the side of a gill that's laying on its side.
Oh, I see. Okay.
I think it's
Right.
connected here, and then like the top edge of the gill is actually sitting under the next one. They're like imbricated. They're imbricated.
Right. Got you.
Because there's the next one, and it's laying under that edge.
So all those little bits that you would, I don't know what those bits are.
The big things, the big
The big,
chunks.
yeah, the big chunks. I don't know what they are.
Okay. Here's you can see my hesitation cut when I was trying to cut the the mushroom. Slightly less hesitating cut here as I sliced through the edge of it. And then I think this is a little bit of the top that's on the outside that's folded over onto the side that we can see. So,
Okay.
yeah, this is like a cross section right here, right, this outside edge. So yeah, I don't know what these big things are. There's a bunch of them in here. There's like big chunky things.
Have we had a look at... No, we haven't looked at any of those close up yet, have we?
We're zooming in on one now.
Cool. I mean, it might just be like some rubbish that's got stuck to the gill.
Gill rubbish.
Yeah.
That's the technical word for it. Gill rubbish.
Yeah.
It sounds better when you say it like that, especially with like a British accent. In diatom stuff, I usually just call this junk. It doesn't sound as good when you just say junk. Gill rubbish sounds much more like,
Field detritus.
Gill detritus. Exactly.
It's wrinkly field detritus.
Very wrinkly. It's deflated. Whatever it was, it used to be much bigger.
Anushka Swamps is speaking of mushrooms. I saw my first morel on this continent yesterday. Woo! I've never seen a morel yet.
Oh, really?
No.
There's a bunch of people who've come through our department as students who they always tell me, oh, I know where all the morels are. Like, I could take you out morel hunting. And apparently they do it at night. I don't know why. Why would you want to hunt mushrooms at night?
It's very shady.
Maybe they're doing it, they don't want other people to know where they're collecting them from so that they're the only people. But that's a pretty normal behavior, is they go out late at night, and then I always see like people with like baskets of morels coming back. They post them on Facebook. They've just like, they put out like a giant blanket and fill them with like, here's all the morels we've collected.
Studio Conic says because they are goth. That's a good theory. Yeah.
So actually, that's probably an okay explanation.
Mushrooms in the dark. I guess they can't be that secretive because they'd have to go around with torches, wouldn't they? And just
with flashlights, yeah. I think if you were wandering around on somebody else's property with a torch, at least in the way that we use the word torch, that wouldn't go over very well. You'd get shot in Indiana for that.
What's torch for you? Is that like a flaming torch?
A stick that's on fire, yeah.
Okay, yeah. A bit more aggressive, yeah.
How do you find mushrooms in the dark? That sounds exhausting. I don't know. I've never gone with anybody. I generally avoid the idea of one of my students is like, let's go out in the forest at night with flashlights, just you and me. Nope. And potentially in sketchy other people's property, definitely not going to happen. So, but I also don't eat. I've never had a morel. I don't even know what it tastes like.
No, I don't.
So, but maybe I should try to connect with one of those students and have them take me out so I can collect one so we could look at it in the scanning electron microscope.
Yeah, that would be cool. And they are supposed to taste really good. I would like to try one day, but yeah, never found them.
What's going on, Asymmetric? How you doing? Yeah, you just have to wander around with a cup and then the mushrooms will jump right into it. If you're doing it right. And then you can just put a bowl over top of it and take it to the park. Some mushrooms glow in the dark under UV light. Is this true?
Yes, this is true. I did have a UV torch at one point to try and do that, but like I did get a really powerful one, which would look really good, but you could instantly feel your eyeballs hurting after using it. So I thought I'll just not do that anymore.
Do you still have it?
No, I sold it.
Okay. You're like, this is someone
Yeah,
else's
okay.
problem.
Yeah, yeah. I did put explicit warnings when I sold it. Like, are you sure you want this to watch?
Someone in the chat here, it seems like they know what they're talking about.
Ooh,
Nuoxine says some spores grow in bunches of 4. Yes. Is that
is that
around
around?
us?
Yes.
That's what I saw when we were looking where we could see the basidium earlier. Was they were in bunches of, I think, 4 around it.
Yeah.
So
So they grow from 4 sterigma on the basidium. So 1 spore from each sterigma. And yeah, good photo of that earlier, didn't you? It was a squished one, but it was very clear.
Asymmetric, have you found some morels? Is that what you're talking about? Have you been out looking? Because Asymmetric doesn't live too far from me. So, same climate. Same general climate. Also, as likely to get shot by somebody with a gun if he was wandering around on their property. So. All right. You want to try to take a look at the outside? I don't know if there's anything interesting on the outside of a mushroom.
There might be. So they also have, so there's basidia and then there's cystidia, which are cells that aren't used in reproduction, but they have different shapes depending on the mushroom. Some mushrooms have those on the cap and some don't, so we might find something.
I mean, on the outside?
Yeah, some
Okay.
have them on the cap surface, yeah.
Okay, let's take a look at the outside. I have that for this one. This is the outside. It looks like there was something growing on it. It's probably just covered with some sort of mold or something, right?
Yeah.
Is that normal for mushrooms, just to be covered with junk? Sorry, rubbish?
Some rubbish, yes. Yeah, I mean, it looked not pristine, obviously, so yeah.
Oh,
I don't think it would have mold on it yet, but
there's
other
pollen.
junk.
This is pollen.
Oh yeah.
That is a little bit of pollen that's been trapped on it. I recognize
cool.
pollen instantly because I look at stuff in the microscope and I always see pollen.
Oh yeah.
And we've actually looked at pollen in the SEM before. Last spring we did like a big sequence where I would collect plants and then we would look at the plant and we would then put the pollen directly onto a stub and stuff it into the microscope. So,
Oh.
but I think I will try to get a picture of this just for completeness. We found something cool. If we have pollen experts in the channel, feel free to blurt out whatever the pollen is. I don't remember which one this is off the top of my head, and I'm pretty bad at identifying them. It has three little slots on the side, so I'm sure that this tripore structure is like, I don't know, something that's useful for pollen people. Also, don't tell the pollen people, but I think pollen is kind of ugly, so... catch you all later. Dinner time here. Thanks for streaming. Welcome. Have a good dinner there, Corkboard, and thanks for hanging out with us, and also for the sub and the gift sub to, I think that went to Sarah Dance Painter. So now she can spam emotes. Nobody owns the forest. Somebody does own some of the forests, I'm pretty sure. I mean, technically. Hey, Joseph Radio Joe, welcome in. Yes, this is what your enemy looks like. If you struggle with pollen allergies, Fall Machine, this is what some of the pollen looks like. Um, I don't recognize it off the top of my head. We definitely took pictures of this before. If I had to guess, it's probably oak. There's a lot of oak around, so it's probably Quercus. What was that? Oh, it's just the emote attack. That's fine.
So is this just on the cap?
Yeah, it's on the outside of the cap. Mushrooms sometimes are a little sticky on the outside.
They are.
Is there a reason for that?
I don't know. Like some are sticky because they're attracting flies, like the stinkhorn, but ones that are just a bit sticky, I don't know what the reason for that is.
We have a mushroom that grows around here that's like honey something. I don't remember what the name of it is, but it has honey in the name, and then it
Honey
really,
fungus?
I don't know the name. I just remember it had honey in it, and then it was very sticky. Like when I went to pick it up, I was like, okay, now I need to wash my hands.
Ah. Yeah, some of them are really, really sticky or slimy, or yeah.
So that's part of their reproductive strategy. Or
I'm
they,
not sure because it's on the cap, so I don't know whether that's trying to like repel something or attract something because the gills are underneath and they're never slimy or sticky. I don't think it's always just the cap if it is.
yeah, I think it was
But
just the cap, but it was very like sugary, sticky, like syrup.
hmm.
And I remember looking it up. Yeah, mushrooms attack. Exactly. It's diatom's attack with mushrooms attack. The gills are the underside. Sarah Dance Painter. That's the. Um, you don't trust them. What do they need gills if they don't live
Oh,
underwater?
yeah. Sorry.
I said, why do they need gills if they don't live underwater?
I don't know. They're just dumb.
Why do they call them gills? Do you know that?
Um, I do not. I don't know why they're called gills.
Well, you need to answer questions from like a second grader more frequently.
Why this? Why this? Why?
Exactly.
So Nooksane armillaria. Yeah, honey fungus is armillaria malaya. I don't think they're sticky though, so maybe it's a different something else with honey.
It was very sticky.
Probably
These,
because they look like girls as Sarah Dawn's painter. That's a good point. I was being confused by the question and I should have just gone for the obvious answer.
I guess they do look a little bit like gills, but I mean, I say that gills are sort of on the inside usually. So, any of these little things are. They look like they're intentional. There's three little orb-shaped things, pancake-shaped things.
Are they? Is that not just something else stuck to it? Is that not more?
I mean, it could be, but they look like they're the same. They look like they're designed. Like
They
here's
do
another
look like
one.
they're attached, don't they?
They do.
Okay, so they could be cystidia. Might have, so if they're on the cap, then they're called pileocystidia or pilocystidia. Just means that they grow on the cap surface. And bearing in mind that, yes, I've got to remember that everything will be squashed. So yeah, they would be, when you're looking at it just under the light microscope, they would be sticking up from the cap surface.
Yes.
So yeah, those are probably cystidia. Cool.
That sounds like what was that band? Phil Collins. It sounds like a Phil Collins song. Doesn't he have a song that's like that?
What, cystidia?
Yeah.
I don't know.
I'm pretty sure he does.
He
I don't know what
probably-
I don't know what the word is he normally says. It's like Sis's Studio or something like that. But it sounds a lot like that. Someone in the audience out there probably knows. Yeah. Probably there you go.
There we
Susudio.
go.
I don't know what's Susudio versus cystidia. How do you spell cystidia? Is it CYS?
Yeah.
Okay.
So there we go. Cystidia.
Every time you say it, I'm gonna think of Phil Collins now.
Be singing. Singing in your head.
Cystidia. Okay. It helps that Sarah is singing along in the chat. Just to Google it, you're old enough to know Phil Collins songs, aren't you?
Yeah, I should be.
Okay.
I can, now that we've had that rendition from Sarah Dance Painter, I can hear it now. Yeah.
Okay, good. Perfect. Thanks, Sarah. Cystidia. That's how I would pronounce it.
I'm trying to find out why mushrooms are sticky, and so far we don't know, but I'm going to keep Googling in case someone has an answer.
Presumably, it's to draw something in. Like,
Or one theory is like to hold in more moisture. That's another theory. Or to protect against something.
it's
Like
specific.
maybe from flies eating it. What if the fly got stuck? Could it be to deter flies?
Could they be using it to eat flies?
I think you'd probably notice if they were doing that, but you never know.
Protection? Pacific Plankton's here. She thinks it's protection.
Oh, hey Pacific Plankton.
Welcome in, Pacific. We're looking at some mushrooms I found in the yard. This one's not sticky, but it has some stuff stuck to the surface like pollen. And we think these might be cystidia. Not to be confused with Cissus Studio, or Cissus Studio, whatever that song is.
Sarah Dance Painter said, I like that mushroom science is very much like IT, I don't know, Google it. Well, I think mushroom science is a lot better than that. It's just, this is what I do.
You're just stepping by before you do a run on the beach. Maybe if you... Pacific Plankton has a lab now, lab space that she shares with mushroom people. Not people made of mushrooms, but people who study mushrooms. So, not monsters people that are like mushrooms grown very large with eyes or anything like that. So she might know some secret information about mushrooms now, like why are they sticky?
Very cool lab space you have with the mushroom people.
The mushroom people. There's some more of those little disc things. They seem intentional, so. There's another one. So they don't just seem like the pollen was just kind of stuck there.
Yeah, these are definitely part of it. Yeah, there'll be cystidia.
Cool. We found something.
We did.
All right. Let's jump over and look at the other mushroom. So I have pieces of the bigger mushroom now. So we can go look at that. And I think the first thing we'll look at is the stem. I think it's the stem.
Okay.
I'll know when I zoom out. Oh, wait. This is gills. There's two of them. So it's just a whole gill that I separated with the tweezers and pulled out a chunk of it and stuffed it on the stage on its side. So the edge of the gill is down here, and the part that was attached to the plant I think is up here. So this part's probably the part that's full of good stuff. And let's zoom in and take a look.
Have a nice run, Pacific Plankton. Catch you in a bit. I see the mushroom puns are coming thick and fast in the chat.
Oh boy. Good, I guess.
It's unavoidable.
Is that so? When you stream, do you do mushroom puns?
They'll happen. I don't personally do the mushroom puns, but someone will do them.
Someone always shows up and does some mushroom punning. So here you can see, let's see, there was somebody in chat, Nuke, said clusters of spores in groups of 4.
Yeah.
There's a set of 4, here's a set of 4, here's a set of
Ooh.
4, here's a set, right?
That's really cool. So
And
they
what's
like,
really interesting is if you look at the way that they formed, so this gives us some insight into their shape, right? Like here, we're looking right down on it, on the edge of it. You can see that the openings for the, what'd you call these little bumps?
germ pore.
Germ pores?
Germ pore, yeah.
So the germ pores are all facing the same way.
That's very cool. And then like because they're clustered in that way, you can kind of see how they end up being that like bean shape.
Yep, yep. They fit together around here very, like they're packed in very...
Oh, can I get a picture of that one? That's really cool.
Yeah, I'll take a picture.
Thank you.
It's hard for me to find something that's not rounded to focus on. Round things are kind of hard to figure out what's in focus, so I'm just trying to find something kind of sharply not round to focus on. I think I got it. I'm just waiting for it to come over these little germ pores. See me throwing my lingo around now?
Oh yeah. Smooth.
They look good enough. It's a soft focus, but I will accept it. Yeah, it looks alright. Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, at least as good as you can do in the light microscope for these, right?
Yeah. Definitely.
All right. Oh, I see. There are some fun guys puns. Got it. Let's see. Catch us after the run. Oh yeah, you think I'm going to be streaming still? Unless it's a very short run, probably not. I saw a lot of mushroom people in Amsterdam. They did seem to be having fun. Yeah, those are probably a different group of mushroom people. It's probably a different kind of mushroom. So you don't work with mushrooms? This is like you're a naturalist, right? Or do you?
No, I didn't work with mushrooms. No, this is just my hobby.
Yeah.
I just like learning about them. Midna asked me, because I'm about to finish studying for the summer, and she's like, "What are you going to do with all your free time?" And I listed off 6 things, all of which were to do with mushrooms. I'm like, okay, that takes up all of my time.
Just say what free time?
Yeah, exactly.
One of my favorite bands, Papadosio, has a whole album where the songs are all different mushroom names. Oh, that's nice. Mushrooms are life in Micah World. Yeah, I bet they are. I bet they are. I mean, my spare time is a lot of birding and carpentry and photography. So basically, Twitch sees most of my hobbies, right?
Yeah,
Same with you.
exactly.
Also a bit of my work, but sometimes there's some overlap between my hobbies and my work. Oh, are you aiming to do this for a job? Is that what you're learning about?
Oh yeah, like yeah, that would be great, but there's not really any mycology jobs, or well, very, very, very few at the moment. Maybe in many years' time there'll be more.
When the old people die off, is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
There's a lot of old,
They don't
elderly,
have jobs either.
elderly mycologists.
No, they don't have jobs either.
Nobody has any jobs. That's what I'm hearing. I'm gonna do
But
one from this sort of range as well because I feel like there's a bunch of other things going on here, and it's kind of neat to be able to see like all the different views because we have a
yeah,
top down and we have it. And basically, all the angles are represented by our field of view here.
yeah, that is very cool. I suppose like it wasn't long ago that mushrooms were still thought to be like a weird type of plant, so any funding there was for mycology is all in with botany somewhere.
Well, there's probably still a lot of people on Twitch who think that mushrooms are a plant. So
Exactly.
um, you should you should use this time to educate them about where mushrooms fall out.
Okay.
I try to
But
explain to people that like they're closer to humans than they are to plants.
they are, so yeah, they're their own kingdom, completely separate kingdom.
I get this people asking me if diatoms are plants, and I'm like, no, and they're like, so then they're animals, and I was like, you know, there's other things, right? Like, I think people just learn plants and animals, and that's it.
Yeah.
And so if it doesn't fall into one of those two categories, they just you know they stop and look at me like there's more categories. Yes, there's more categories.
Yeah. Mind blown.
Yes, but they're like it grows in the ground though, so plant, right? And I'm like, no, animal, vegetable, mineral, right?
Usually quite cold to the touch. Yeah, they don't really like yeah, they don't like high temperatures really. They grow better when it's cooler. Um, and obviously they need a lot of rain to grow.
So both of these mushrooms I found growing in the landscaping peat.
Hmm.
I don't know if that helps. Probably
No.
traps water.
Well, it does help in that they weren't growing on bits of wood, but then they probably. Do you have trees nearby?
Yes.
Landscaping peat, as in like that had not been there long.
It's probably not been there for very long. Yeah, it's probably just growing
Okay.
through that. But it's in it's probably trapping moisture or something, so the ground's probably wetter
Mhm.
there. Yeah, and then when I went out, that was like 2 weeks ago before you guys went to Scotland. I mostly found mushrooms that were growing on trees. That was the pretty. There's a lot of like old tree, dead tree wood that is growing mushrooms.
Mhm. So the one with the black spores, the black underside, those I think pretty much all of those genus are saprotrophs, so they would uh eat decayed things. So that might be like dead grass and things or wood. So not wood in this case.
Hmm.
Um the other one I don't know, yeah, so I don't know what genus that is, but so if it was growing it could be mycorrhizal if it was growing with a tree that's nearby or some shrubs as well. Um, or it could be saprotrophic as well and just living on decaying vegetation.
I'll
I'm
take
not sure.
there since it's in my yard. I'll take some more pictures,
Yeah, okay.
and then you'll be able to get a look at it. There's some of these big boulder looking things that look like maybe they are the same as the dried out ones in that other mushroom.
Yeah.
The little trash baggy. What do we call them?
So cystidia.
Oh, these are cystidia? These are on the inside, though.
On the inside. Yeah, they have the cystidia where you find the basidia as well.
Ah,
So they'll all be in the same place, and sometimes it can be quite hard to tell which one you're looking at unless you can see the sterigma and spores attached to them.
yeah, so we can see the clusters of spores all around, and then there's these big ones that are separated.
Yeah. Also, they could be young basidia that haven't developed the sterigma yet, so there's that possibility too.
An early stage.
Oh, bye, Studio Cornix. Enjoy Kung Fu.
Yeah. I feel like if I was hanging with my gang of like regular chatters on Twitch, I would feel really protected because there's a bunch of like martial arts people who happen to listen to me, and I feel like we could just go anywhere. It would be like a group of. I would have a group of people who are trained in self-defense that could protect me.
That's pretty handy.
Well, there's not a lot of people trying to attack me, so. And I usually don't go into dangerous places where I might get attacked. So,
Also good.
and it's a strategy. Orchestrian, hello. Let's see. Plants, animals, and video games, and ants and dinosaurs. I mean, I wish we had categories that were like that on Twitch. I regularly complain about the categories because it's like we've got a category for all science, and then
Yeah, it's not
ev-
great.
and then every single game that's ever been made, even ones that are played in your yard, have a category. But like all of science, oh, and technology, we're just gonna stick all that in one big lump, and then yeah, like Connect Four is a category. I mean, I understand it came from the gaming world, but maybe we could make some categories for those things that that we do. So they invited me to be a Twitch. I don't know what they call it, researcher person. They asked me questions, and this is what I'm going to tell them. So we'll see how it goes. Seeing mushrooms like cold and wet, I guess that's why they like Scotland. Yeah, probably. Um,
Scotland's a good place for mushrooms.
Trash bag thingies is a much better name. Really? I kind of like the, what was it, gill detritus? Gill debris? Gill rubbish? Was that what it is?
It was detritus something.
Yeah.
I've lost it now. I've lost the perfect term.
We have it on the VOD. We'll just go
That's
back and
true.
look. So, in looking at these from where we are here in outer space, which is, microns from the surface, there's, let's see, you can see my mouse if I'm in here. Here's the little clusters of spores. And then there's these things, which look like somebody cut open a jalapeno. Right here, and here, and here, and here. You see them?
Yeah, I was trying to work out, like, are they could be young basidia
Oh, those are probably the basidia
because
because
yeah,
they've got four little connecting points where they would have
yeah.
connected to the spores. So we can
And I
zoom
was
in
trying
and
to
take a
work
look
out
at
whether
those.
it's a young one or is it an old one.
Yeah, but we can go zoom in and take a look. But that's definitely what those are, right? So because it would be
Right.
connected to four of these things, and some of the spores that are here look like a grape, like they're very rounded, like these ones. Do you think that's because they're ready? Do they like inflate?
Where are you pointing? Sorry. Oh, let's have a look.
They're like in here. These ones look like grapes or olives.
Yeah, they look more ready, like it grows together all clustered, which made it that shape, and then they kind of open out, I guess, when they're ready to go. Yeah, that would make sense.
Let's zoom in and take a look at the. There you can kind of see the differences between them. See, these ones are like they've expanded.
Yeah.
And then they have the little basidia, and then these ones are like they're compact. It looks like maybe they start compact, and then like this little cluster's ready to go.
It almost looks like it's really cool seeing it like this. It's like they're all clustered and it almost looks like petals opening. Like they're like unfurling and then they're good to go.
Yeah, they're blowing themselves up. They're inflating, and then also you can see. I think this is the basidia. These things, which are the things that the spores are connected to, they grow from, right?
Yeah.
Are there the they're not just attachment points. They like actually form the spore.
So they grow. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know exactly. Yeah, they grow from there, but I don't know. I know like what it looks like when they come out, but I don't know how they grow inside particularly.
Well, we have some in our field of view, and we have really nice shot of these. I think I'm gonna collect this image.
Yeah,
That'll
that's
be
very nice.
nice. Um,
Hi,
also,
Swooboo. Are these still alive? Former shoes, but well, he vacuumed them, so outlook is poor.
they were alive until about 3 hours ago. Uh, how long could a mushroom live after you've pulled the stem?
I don't know. I know the spores are viable for a long time, but not sure about the actual mushroom.
Yeah. Let's see. I should also, for people who don't know, Michael Learning is here with us. She's my guest today.
Hello.
And there, I can give you a little shout out. And she streams here on Twitch. So if you like mushroom content, but you don't necessarily feel like an SEM is necessary for that, I recommend that you give her a follow and check out her channel. And yeah, so these are pretty cool. This is a pretty nice view, and also I feel like we're learning a little bit about mushrooms.
Yay. Yeah, I will start streaming again any time now. Maybe in a couple weeks.
What? So, do you want to talk a little bit about Scotland, or is that something we don't talk about?
Yeah, we can talk about Scotland. It's not like
Orchestran here is from Scotland.
who's from Scotland?
Orchestran?
Ooh. Oh, excellent. I'm very jealous. I would love to live in Scotland. We only went there for a week, but and just drove up from the south to the Cairngorms for 2 nights, and then stopping by the Poison Gardens at Alnwick on the way, and then we managed to go to the Isle of Skye for 2 days as well, which and the weather was amazing. We were so lucky, and then it just rained on the last day before we came home. So it's like a very fast whistle-top tour of Scotland.
Sounds like a good one, though.
It was very good. Yeah, we did some camping and took the 2 dogs. Yeah, Glasgow born and bred, Skye is beautiful. It's so beautiful. I wasn't prepared for just how beautiful it is. Like, you see pictures, but it doesn't do it justice.
You need people with better cameras, probably.
Yes, that's all it is.
I know a guy with a really nice camera who probably could do some justice to it if he was, along on the trip. All right, so this is a nice view of the spore in Basidia. And I think maybe these little spines that are sticking up are actually maybe related to the Basidia right here. They're just in profile.
Yeah.
So, kind of neat.
Yeah. I am intrigued about, yeah, those crosses, whether they're beginning or ending. I'd like to know. Maybe show the pictures to some actual mycologists and see if they know. That'd be interesting.
We'll give a link to Pacific Plankton, and then she can ask her mushroom people. see what they know.
Definitely.
Yeah, so these big, really big ones are all over the place. Those are cystidia, you said?
Yeah.
And
I think like because sometimes they could be young basidia, but they look quite a bit bigger than the basidia. So I think sometimes they're kind of the same size and it's hard to tell. But as they're bigger, I think those are probably just cystidia.
let's come in here. Let's look at this edge. See if we can see anything good. It's a lot of the same stuff. Spores all over the place.
Yep.
What's going
Reading
on?
Swooboo's message.
Whose message?
Swooboo.
Oh, what did he say? Or she?
So while we have a fungi expert here, I have a question. I've eaten some slices of bread today and then saw that the bread was infected with mold. I've probably also eaten some mold. How much time do I have to live?
Well, I have some news for you, which is if you can see the mold, that's the fruiting body of the mold, which means it's been around for a while and now it's ready to, replicate. And so when people, they just like scrape the mold off and then go like, oh, it's fine. It's probably not fine. I mean, we can probably eat it and be all right, but by the time you see the mold, it's too late. There's already mold in it, right? It's the fruiting body that you're seeing when you actually see mold growing on something. So a lot of it probably gets eaten, and you never even know you ate it.
I'd just like to check at this point if Midna is listening. I know she's lurking. Midna, you listening to this is very important information about mold. She's eaten a lot of mold in her life, and she's still here, but could be a matter of days now.
Is she the type of person who just picks some of the mold off of the bread and then goes, "It's fine"?
Yes, she is that person, and some.
Don't look at the food before you eat it. That is the moral of this story. I think that's a good moral of the story. I mean, we eat some things that are designed to be eaten that are mold, right? It's just cheese is mold. So
There's good mold.
there's good mold and bad mold. It's my nightmare fuel. You've been eating mold all along, is what I'm trying to tell you. So I don't know how to break it to you, but that's the case. I saw a science expert talking about mold, and my wife is also like one of these expiration date, like, it's fine, like she'll keep eating stuff well after the expiration date if it looks like it's okay or smells like it's okay. And I'm sort of like, that milk is past due. I just dump it out, like whatever it is, I would rather just spend an extra $2 and buy some more milk than get sick from it. So Jicebox is here for this mold conversation. They joined explicitly because they heard us talking about fruiting bodies.
Oh.
Minda
Yeah, I
says
don't like stuff that's like past the date if it smells right and stuff, but I just, when I can actually see the mold, it's a no.
she says she draws the line at black mold.
That's good.
I mean, I think it just depends on where it's growing and how big it is. But yeah, you've been eating it all along, so. Sometimes we buy stuff from the store, like we get a loaf of bread, and like 2 days later, it's already covered with mold, which means it was moldy when they sold it to us. right? We just didn't see all the mold, but like it just like instantly starts to fruit the moment it gets home.
Nice.
Open it, and then it's like, yeah, this is just covered with mold right away. So all right, this is my big overview of the inside here with all the different parts. And so I'm just going to save that. And then we can go look at the stem, which is on the next stub over. So
is this so this has all been the gill of the one with the black spores, hasn't it?
no, these two are the different. This one we rotated around to the orange cap, whatever, yellow capped mushroom. So
Oh, okay. So the spores look the same.
they're pretty similar, yeah. These ones are
Yeah.
more clearly in clusters of 4.
Yeah, okay.
And the basidia are different shape, or they seem to be a different shape. So I'm sure somebody will be able to tell something from this.
Yeah.
The thing that's confusing about this SEM for people are 2 things. One is the scale. So you have to look at the scale bar because we could be looking at things at any size.
Yeah.
So that is always a little bit unnerving. And the other thing is that you can't see any color. So everything just looks different shades of gray, right?
Yeah.
So like we wouldn't be able to tell like what color mushroom it was, and we use color a lot to try to help figure things out. So I think it's confusing for people. This stuff that just looks like bark is actually the outside of the stem.
Okay. So on the stem you might have cystidia as well, just different ones possibly, or no cystidia. So it could be there might not be anything on here, but we
Well,
shall see.
it looks like these pancake things are here again.
Yeah. Okay, maybe it does have cystidia on the stem.
Phil Collins will be excited. Yeah, that definitely looks like the same kind of thing we saw on the other one on the outside.
It does. It looks attached.
Yeah. And then they're very fibrous, obviously. Yeah, let's get a picture of this just in case.
Hey, Jonathan's Gamecast. Look at all those mushroom emotes.
Wait, did my little auto shout out work for him?
Yes.
Perfect. I've been slowly adding people, so I have to just check. Those
Are we
dates are.
doing science with mushrooms, or are we just having a fun? It's funsies and science all in one. And
Yeah.
hello.
That's how we roll around here. We always have fun, and then we just happen to do science sometimes. So, hi on Magical Me. We are not looking at this for any research purpose, if that's what you're asking. We are looking at some mushrooms I found in my yard. Well, in my neighborhood. One of them was in my yard. One of them was down the road from my house. Where we let the mouse go. You missed that part about the mouse, but... let's see. Do you know of any interesting interactions between diatoms and fungi? Are there any?
Oh, there is one, isn't there? There's a parasitic one. Can't remember which way around it is.
Oh, you mean like chytrids?
Yes.
Yes, there are chytrids that live attached to diatoms and are parasitic. The people are used to thinking about mushrooms as these things that grow in the ground. And then, of course, mold is basically in the same group of things, right? But there's a group of fungal-like organisms that live in aquatic systems called chytrids. And some of them are parasitic, and they will live on diatoms. And in a deleterious way, like a way that harms the diatom typically.
So bad fungi.
Well,
I mean, they're just doing their thing, but
chytrids. I think it's spelled like that with a Y.
Yeah.
That's another thing Scotland excels at, mold. Well, a little column A, a little column B, you know? You got the gorgeous landscapes and interesting culture, and then mold. So,
Yeah, balances out. It's all good.
so while you were out in Scotland, did you collect any mushrooms?
No, I didn't see. Just trying to think if I saw any. I don't remember seeing a single mushroom. But then it
How's
was, you know, April, end of April, May. It's not the best time.
it's not?
No, it's like the dead zone for fungi right now. It's like,
Oh, well, they're growing in my yard, okay.
they are.
Well, one of them is anyway. We often get the mushroom that's probably occurs most frequently in my yard, because I do get mushrooms growing there. Um, Look, there's a little spore on the outside of our mushroom. A visitor. On the stem. So that's just fallen off of the gills,
Pollen, yeah.
probably. Is puffball mushrooms. Those are the ones that we get. I'm assuming that's like a whole group of mushrooms. That's not just one species, but
Yeah, there's puffballs and then there's puffballs in different genus and I think in different families as well. And it's one of those that's kind of evolved from different groups.
it's
Um, we did see a
a
giant puffball the other day when they're not supposed to be out this time of year at all, but we found one. Someone thought it was just a rock and kind of poked it in case it was a mushroom, and yeah, it was
did
a mushroom.
did it explode?
No, it just wobbled a bit.
Okay. Some of them, I don't know if do they explode or they just basically collapse and then the spores come out as soon as they get touched.
They do kind of, I guess, well, yeah, I don't know if they would explode without anything poking them, but I guess they would eventually, and then it just kind of puffs them out the top.
Yeah. So those are the ones I always get that grow like every year. I get those, and then usually there's a time of the year where I just get some mushrooms that show up in my yard when it's like probably this time of year because it's really rainy here.
Ah, you got lots of rain. Okay, yeah.
Yeah. Turns out spring is very rainy where I live.
And that's what I was trying to say.
Oh, it's more common in autumn in Scotland. Is that true? So you should have scheduled a second trip.
Yeah, autumn is fungi season.
Can you just drive back to Scotland whenever you like?
You should, yeah, I mean, there's a lot of driving, but yes, we could drive back at any time. It would be good to go in autumn. But yeah, you can find fungi all year round. Like if I looked really hard this time of year, I'd still find them. And they're going to starting to come out now. So things are looking up.
What does a British person consider to be a lot of driving? Because it doesn't seem like your country's that big to me.
Okay, so a lot of driving. So all of the driving that we did in that week was 1,400 miles.
Okay, well that's a lot.
Yeah,
But
it is
like,
a lot.
how long does it take you to drive to Scotland from where you are, roughly?
Um, like 8 hours to get into Scotland, and then a lot more if you go further up.
That's just a short trip for me.
It's just a short trip. Oh my God.
My parents live 6 hours away, roughly, and we drive there. I mean, holidays, just to go visit, like Christmas. My
Yeah.
sister's got uh, my nephew is graduating high school, so we're just gonna drive up there for that. You know, 6 hours is nothing. Uh, I don't. Sometimes if I'm just driving for 6 hours, we don't even switch drivers. That's just like
No, we didn't switch driving. Like Midna could have driven at any point, but I was just like, well, I'll stay if I get tired and just carried on because I quite like driving.
Same. It's I like to switch driving right before the rain starts to come down really hard. That's usually my move.
Oh, my time is up.
That's right. Well, I can tell. I'm like, it seems like it's gonna rain really hard. I'm getting tired. Not on purpose. It just happens that way. That's not so bad. You could definitely drive back to Scotland whenever.
The sofa bed is always available. Awesome.
Oh, oh, there you go.
Hey.
Now it's become more practical all of a sudden.
We camped for how many? Like only 3 nights really. We did proper camping. Which is a bit shameful. We were going to camp more than that.
Was it your first time camping?
Yeah, I mean, I've camped years ago, but yeah, first time in a while.
All right, I'm going to try to see if we can put the one of the pieces from both the inside and the outside of the mushroom, the bigger mushroom, in the microscope, into the SEM. But I need
Cool.
to vent the gas out of the chamber, so you're going to hear like a hissing noise. I don't usually switch out samples while we're streaming because it takes a while to pump it back down. And I can't guarantee that when I go to pump it back down that it will pump down because the mushrooms are, they still have water in them. So, but we'll give it a shot. You can entertain people with funny stories if you'd like while I try to do this.
Awesome. Which oh yeah, you're getting the section that's looking like the bigger section.
From the big mushrooms, yeah.
Okay. Cool. It's not a russular, by the way. That was an incorrect guess. Balls are wrong for that. So I still have no idea what it is.
All right. Well, I'll give you some more pictures because I have a bunch of them in my yard.
Okay.
And I'll give you some like in-place pictures that might be helpful. And maybe I'll use my real camera instead of just my phone.
Okay.
As I scramble out the door on my way into work in the morning and just grab some mushroom.
So I always wanted to take camper van and wild camp up here. Yes, yeah, we had big plans that we were going to wild camp, but I think just camping at all was a good start. Like we have everything we need to wild camp, so we could have. Maybe next time. I'd love to get a camper van as well. That would be because then you don't really have to camp. Just go to campsites in the van or sleep in the van or just take a tent. You could properly wild camp, but not brave enough next time.
What are you calling it? World camp?
Wild,
A wild camp.
yeah, because you that's allowed in Scotland. It's not allowed in England.
What is how do you define wild camping?
Like you can just camp anywhere. You don't have to be in a campsite. I think it's as long as it's outside of a certain distance from someone's house. Like you can't just camp in someone's garden, but you can camp anywhere else.
You can't camp in somebody's garden?
No, I think that's frowned upon, This what are you doing? Go on. I'm too old to do that now. Never too old. Never too old. It'll be fine. I mean, so I had the blow up, like the blow up mattress thingy, sleeping mat. That's what I'm trying to say. But after the first night, I was like, I can still feel it just felt like I was sleeping on the ground. So then Midna had a spare one, so I ended up just using two. That was nice. You can make things more luxurious. 2 sleeping mats. It'll be fine.
Twice the luxury.
Exactly. I mean, you could ask if you really had a burning desire to camp in someone's garden. Yes, you could always ask. But yeah, you could just camp as far away from people as possible is the appeal of all of this, obviously.
Well,
Um,
it sounds like you have a sofa bed waiting. So,
Yeah, I mean, it's always going to be preferable to sleep somewhere comfier, isn't it?
or you could sleep in Orchestrand's garden. She probably wouldn't mind.
Excellent. Or a five-star hotel and not camp at all. Yeah, there's always that. Like on the last night, because that was on the Sunday we had the long drive back home, and I was like, we don't want to be putting up a tent and taking a tent down on the last day when we've got the long day driving to it. And it was a very easy decision. Nope, book a Airbnb.
As soon as it looks like it might rain, we're switching to luxury.
Yeah, exactly. We had to take the tent down in the rain. And then yeah, I wasn't going to get back into a wet tent. That didn't seem like fun.
When we've done a bunch of camping for research, and in one of the many adventures that we've had with students, I had a student who accidentally set up her tent in like a low area, and then we got rained on really hard, kind of unexpectedly, because we were way up in the Beartooth Mountains, up at the top of the mountain, and yeah, the all of the water just collected where her tent was, and so like the entire thing was underwater. Not the whole thing, like the whole place where you might sleep was covered with water.
Uh-oh.
And then, so she slept in the van, and then we also had one where it was hailing on us for a little while, and so I think we all kind of moved into the van for that.
Yeah, hail in a tent does not sound ideal.
Well, it's experience, you know.
Yeah, yeah. Only
It's,
four more air mattress to have the full princess and the pea experience. Yeah, did feel like princess.
my pump is trying really hard, but I think we're gonna have to take one of these two out. We'll
Oh,
see. We'll see. It's still, the numbers are still going, like the vacuum pressure is still going a little bit at a time, but I'm pretty sure it's not going to make it.
oh.
So, is your preference for a chunk of the inside of it or a chunk of the outside of it?
Right, say that again, sorry. My dog was making weird noises.
Would you rather see, like, I have these sort of chunks of the yellow orange capped mushroom, and we can see the inside of it or the outside of it?
The inside is in like the gills.
Yes.
Yeah, the gills.
Okay. We'll see how it does. It's got a ways to go, and it's still, the numbers are still going, like the pump is still working, but um, I'm not optimistic based on where it is. So
Yeah, worth a try.
yeah, but I think if I take one of them out, it'll be able to do it.
Yeah.
I'm not totally convinced, but it's possible. What kind of dogs do you have?
My dog is a husky cross Malamute. So yeah, they came camping with us. It
Oh,
was good
very
fun.
nice.
They loved it. And Minda's dog is a Springer.
But you didn't bring the horse.
No, not this time. Just the two dogs. Couldn't fit the horse in my car. It's a small car.
Well, I mean, can it like run along beside it?
Yes, yeah, could have done that.
Uh, Sorry, this is like probing questions. Does the horse live at the place where you are, or is it like you keep a horse somewhere else?
Yeah, Minda keeps the horse like 20 minutes away.
Okay.
It'd be great to have them all like nearby, but no, it has to be. That was the closest she could find.
Mm-hmm.
We took up in Skye that we climbed up the store. There's like this um, rock formation, which is stunning, and we that was like the most walking we did on the holiday, and the dogs were pretty tired by the time we got to that bit. So it was like, "Come on, boys, we're just gonna do this one little walk." And like the Springer was most tired. He like just about made it up, and my dog was kind of dragging me up is the other way around. I was like, oh God, haven't climbed any hills for a while. This is harder than I expected.
It's still trying. The numbers are actually still going down, so which
Ooh,
is good. It's got to drop about one more. I don't know. It seems like it might make it. Usually, when it won't make it, the numbers start to go back up a little bit, and then it goes down and up and down. But it's like close to flipping over to being enough pressure or low enough pressure. So it's like right on the edge. I think it's gonna make it.
yay.
It's really close.
Oh, Old Man of Store, that's it. Yes, the Old Man of Store.
Old man of what?
Store, Storr.
The old man of store?
Yeah.
It did work. We made it.
Woo.
This summer, my I had all this field work I was planning to potentially do because COVID ended, and then everybody's like, we've got all this research. We need people to come out and do all this field work. And so I told my wife, well, there's there's like 4 or 5 different things in Africa people want me to be involved with. I don't know if I'm going to do any of them, but so I started telling her when the dates were, and she was like, oh, well, maybe Sylvia and I will just go with my mom to Scotland. And I was like, I want to go to Scotland. But that was the response I got was like, oh, you have to go do work in these cool places, so we're just going to go on vacation without you. Terrible, right?
Bit harsh.
I know. That's what I got to put up with around here. This is the outside, and this is the inside. There you can see the gills. This one, they were nice, straight, clean gills when I started, but the vacuum pressure has made them curly. So
Oh, wavy, yeah. Ooh,
let's
that's
take
cool.
let's take a look at the outside first.
Yeah.
Let's see. This one. Let's see if we can find anything interesting on it. I think I already can see some of those.
Ooh, you want to see Kilt Rock and the melt falls in Skye? We didn't get to see Kilt Rock. I don't know where those falls are. We did go to see the fairy pools though. That was beautiful. We did fairy pools, Fairy Glen, and then back round to the Old Man of Store for the evening. Mushrooms are fascinating. Yes, they are. They are.
So there's a system of mushrooms in the western part of the U.S. that is the biggest, like people often refer to it as the biggest living organism on Earth.
Yes.
Because the mushrooms are all connected to each other through underground.
Yeah. That's the honey fungus that we were talking about earlier, I think. Is it in Oregon?
Yes, in Oregon.
Yeah. Yeah, that's pretty cool.
This one's got a bunch of spores on the outside. And then some of these big structures. This is the outside of the mushroom.
Okay.
But you can see there's a whole bunch of spores that probably because I put it in a bag on the way to school.
Yeah.
Would be my guess. They get into everything.
And then those would be the cystidia.
Yep.
Cool.
These are the things Phil Collins likes to sing about.
Of course, yes.
I'm gonna find a track of that and I'll just play it whenever you come into the channel, it'll just play a little, clip of it, enough that I won't get TOS'd. It'll be like your, like in sports where the like person comes up to bat and they play special music for them.
Yes.
It'll be your special soundtrack.
Wonderful. It's like red blood. Yes, I do.
Probably will be funny for like the first 3 or 4 times, and then you'll be like, okay, enough of that.
Make it stop.
Yeah, they do look a little bit like red blood cells. Oh, somebody wants to put googly eyes on the mushroom.
Oh, googly eyes.
Where would we put them? Swooboo, where are we putting these?
You have the googly power.
Yeah, you can't just googly and then not give us some sense of where you want this, so... On the round thingies. On the actual spores.
Or the cystidia.
Oh, on the big things? Hi, Susie. We're looking at mushrooms. In the scanning electron microscope today. And have my guest, Michael Learning.
Hello.
Graciously staying up to join us in the chat.
Or the big sacks. Wherever you like. I just wasn't sure.
We can do one of each. We'll just see what looks better.
Yes. Just googly eyes everywhere, really.
Or I can try to make one of these into like a face. Let's see what I can do with it.
Yeah. Like that, the big sack thing kind of looks like it has a mouth on one of these.
Yeah. Oh yeah, and 2 little eyes at the top.
They got potential.
Yeah. Does Indiana have a state mycologist? I have no idea. There probably is. Do I know who they are? No. Google, I guess, is the answer to that one. That one structure had a bit of a crack. That could be... Oh, yeah. Yeah, everybody sees the mouth right here. We've got like a... Looks like a bit like It looks a little bit like a orangutan face. There's another one down here. This one's even better. This one's like a crazy camel face.
Oh my god. Yes.
Let's do it. I'm going to zoom in to this little section, and then maybe this section. We'll do one of each. And then your responsibility as somebody in the chat will be to take a screenshot of it, I guess. Or Micah could do it, I guess.
Yeah. Little mushroom scrotum.
I don't know what the technical word is, but you're not far off. Right?
Yeah.
Outside. 1. All right. Let's see. We could do this here. And let's see, how's that gonna look? Oh, this is good, I think. This will be okay. It looks a little bit like a llama, maybe. We'll do that.
A llama? Did you say a llama?
Yeah, a llama. Hang on. You'll see it. You'll see it here. Give me a second.
It's like a magic eye picture, which I can never do. I don't see the llama. I see it.
We'll put this here. And we'll put this here. There we go. Now they're like little ears. And it's got a little mouth going across the middle right here.
Now I see it.
Now you see it?
It's a very disturbed looking llama.
Well, I mean, it is trapped in a mushroom.
There is that, yep.
Evan knows what to do. Gotta hit that googly. Alright. I'm going to... Yeah, I think it looks good. We'll take a picture like this. Let's see. To do this. And we'll hit that button. Very disturbed llama, which it's gonna develop. The eyes will just be here for a minute. Evan's planning on making us some sort of tracking software that will allow us to put eyes on things and move the screen around still.
Oh, wow.
We'll see. Heart balls. Heart balls? That's right. That poor llama just ate some moldy bread. That's exactly what happened to it. What does an undisturbed llama look like? They
Good
pretty
point.
much all look a little like, what are these people doing around me? Let's see. Evan says they're literally playing with something called TensorFlow object detection. As we speak, they are building something for detecting. Let's see. I want this to go kind of like right there.
Orchestra, I'm just reading. I love the way mushrooms are connected through mycelium, like a little mushroom community. Yes, it's very cool. And they connect through to the roots of plants, and then like a tree will be connected to different types of mushrooms as well. So you have like this whole network under the ground.
Now, there you go. Now it's really obvious, right?
A mustache.
It's a good mustache for that llama, I think.
It does. It
Oh.
suits.
Oh, we're drifting. Oh no, its face is melting off. That's the worst.
Oh dear, no one needs that.
It explains why it's so upset, though. Oh, now it looks a little bit like a bear.
It does. So, scrotum bear llama thing that
Yeah,
we've created.
yeah.
Okay.
Exactly. That's exactly it.
What have we done?
All I can say is it's not my fault. This is Subu's doing right here. All right, there we go. I've got it back together. It looks completely composed. Go ahead and get us a screenshot of that, somebody. And you can post it in the Discord. That'd be a good place for it. And then let's go look at this other. Let's see. We hide this. I need this to go.
Is
Hide
this the
this.
finished article? You're not going to straighten up that face anymore?
Let's see. And then I'm going to save this image. There we go. Llama. And
Did we get the screenshot? Did someone get one?
I hope somebody did.
I hope so. I didn't.
And this one is more like a chimpanzee here. Let's see. There we go. This is sort of our chimp face.
Excellent. Orchestra says, I would be disturbed being a scrotum bear llama. Yeah. That wouldn't be good.
Something like this. There, now it looks a little bit like a chimpanzee. And oops, I need to does not want to. There we go. There. I don't know if we need a mustache for this one. Maybe a little tiny mustache would be good, though. Really little.
What about the beard?
Oh, full beard? We could try it. Let's try the beard.
Oh, the droopy mustache.
The Fu Manchu.
maybe drooped over the top.
Let's see. Let's see what it looks like with the beard. Oh, beard would be. I think the beard's gonna be nice. It's a little big right now.
Oh,
This is what you sign up for, I guess.
oh yeah.
There we go. Let's see if we can hide that one. Something like this.
Yes, the stuff of nightmares.
That nightmare's what we do around here. Let's see. How could we make it weirder? We could make this like
Yes, this is not weird enough. What else can we do?
something like that, or we could do like. No, I think these have to go there. Yeah, they have to go there. There you go. Yeah, Google it a little. Give us some googly. And I think that's the other option right there. Was the bearded orangutan. That's a good one.
I like that. Suiwi says this is top quality content and nobody will convince me otherwise.
This is how you Twitch, in my opinion. Just put a mustache on whatever you want, and little googly eyes that will Google, and then you call it Twitch. You're done. Ready for that. I got people that sub just for that part. That's what they're here for, and I embrace that. All right, so this is the outside. Those are the outside bits. Let's take a little look at the inside, and then I'm out of mushroom to look at after that. So let's see. There's a lot here because I zoomed up, brought the camera up, so you can see the gills up at the top here.
Yeah.
Kind of like lining up, and a chunk of the, I guess that's probably the outer edge of the mushroom.
Yeah.
Let's zoom in here. So for anyone who came along very late and are like, what kind of mushrooms are these? Real quick, this is the two mushrooms that we looked at today, just from my yard, and the one that looks like star-shaped, it's at the bottom. I cut out a chunk of it, and so we're looking right down on, this is basically the view that we're looking down on, except for I put it into a vacuum and pumped all the water out of it, basically. So rather than being nice straight lines, they're curled. But these are the gills of the inside of that mushroom. So, and you can see it's just covered with spores, which is what we observed before. And similarly, they have really the same, everything's the same. Generally speaking, they're in clusters of 4. We have some that look a little deflated that are like kind of wrapped around each other, and some that are like grapes that are a little bit bigger. And really, I just wanted to get a close-up of one of these things while we're here. What's the name of this thing again?
It's a basidium, and the
Basidium?
little points on it are sterigma.
Sterigma.
See that one like nearer the like above that? Yeah, that's like a side view of them almost.
This one?
Yeah, that one. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's like a top view and a side view.
Yeah.
Okay. We'll get a quick image of this. Get a little spore close-up. And then I haven't been reading chat. I'm assuming people are just, having fun, because we're having fun. Somebody clipped it. Very good. Well done, Swubu. Uh, I have a very lazy whippet who has decided to fall asleep on your foot right now. Oh. That sounds delightful, actually. Googly eyes, yeah.
I missed, hang on, there was Orchestran said they extract nitrogen or something like that, if I remember correctly from school 30 years ago. Why they, like, I don't remember being taught anything about mushrooms in school, like literally nothing. But yeah, with mycorrhizal mushrooms, they trade with the plant for carbon, and they give the plant nutrients. And they especially good at like mining for, I think it's phosphorus. They're good at extracting phosphorus and various other things, and then they trade those with the plant's roots at the plant's roots. So mycorrhizal there. I think it's let me get this right way around. So the ectomycorrhizal mushrooms are the ones that associate with trees, and that's where it kind of forms like a net over the plant root, and it doesn't go inside. And then you have endomycorrhizal, which is the majority that associate with like grasses and stuff, and you won't see those mushrooms fruiting. So the ones that you see and the ones that we eat are ectomycorrhizal ones.
Orchestran says they were taken foraging for mushrooms when they were in school.
Oh, wow.
We never done anything like that here, for sure. I mean, in the U.S., definitely you wouldn't go like out foraging for anything. Is it like a field trip? That sounds like a cool field trip.
Imagine the health and safety rules. That would just never happen now. Never.
Fall machine. It's 10% mold, 10% mushroom, and 80% how the English scammed us.
Brilliant.
Well, you learned a lot about mold and mushrooms that way, I guess. Yeah, so these are nice. You can see them really clearly here. And also there's some really interesting like hexagonal substructure to this underside of this mushroom as well.
Yeah. So in some mushrooms, like the way, like the cell structure of the sort of flesh of the mushroom is useful for identification. So like whether they have like long, sort of thin, fibrous cells in the hyphae, or just are they round, or so.
We had some before that had like they actually looked like a sponge more than gills on the underside, and that was
Yeah.
the kind that was sticky actually.
Okay, so it didn't have gills; it was just spongy underside.
Yeah, it looked like a bunch of little openings, like a
Yeah, so those are polypores, which is a family of mushrooms and an order, I think. Yeah, but the ones with the holes. So whereas these where the spore producing surface is the whole of the gill in the ones that have gills, so they have the basidia all over the gill, and the polypores have like loads of tubes, and those holes that you're seeing on the underside are the end of the tubes, and the spores are created in the tubes and just come out of those pores.
got it.
Oh, mainly to teach us which ones were poisonous so we didn't become a mushroom casualty. Wow.
Oh, it seems like a bad idea to teach kids which ones are poisonous, though.
Yeah.
That could go either way. This one gives other kids diarrhea, and then you just see like a bunch of kids scoop those ones up, you know? This is kind of a cool little spore landscape.
It is.
It's going to be good. I like that. Shallow depth of field, so it'll be out of focus for a lot of it, and then there'll just be like a really sharp interval. At least in theory. Your field trip was to an estuary, so it was cold, wet, smelly, and there were no mushrooms. Aren't there mushrooms in estuaries?
Probably are. Anywhere where it's wet, they'll find mushrooms.
Octum says this is making me hungry. Are we going to cook and eat some of these samples later? No. As we discussed, I don't know what they are, but I actually don't like to eat mushrooms very much. Like my wife makes like a mushroom pasta that's really good, but like I usually don't get them on pizza. If it's like a portobello mushroom, I'll eat that. But I don't eat a lot of mushroom. Sporescape. We had this idea when I was talking with Del Maximum for a like a role-playing adventure game where you're microscopic organisms.
Ooh.
And then like you'd have an aquatic adventure where all of those crazy things that I look at, the ciliates and things, the rotifers, are like beasts you have to fight.
That would be cool.
It would be. Now we just need someone to develop it.
Yeah, minor detail.
Well, if I tell it to someone else, maybe they'll do it. Anywhere wet is where you'll find us. This is true. Diatoms will grow anywhere it's wet. So when somebody asked something about relationship between mushrooms and diatoms, I was trying to think about like, I've never seen diatoms growing on a mushroom or anything like that, but I wouldn't put it past them because I've looked at all kinds of things that I thought, there's no way there's diatoms on this, and there is. So I wouldn't be surprised. There's diatoms that live in the soils, and they like wet soils. So they may not have like a grow on the mushroom sort of thing, but they might be found in the soils where mushrooms are located. And especially if they're good at finding phosphorus, diatoms really need phosphorus. So.
Oh, interesting. What about like a really old like bracket fungus that's been there for a while? Would you not find diatoms on that maybe?
I don't know what a bracket fungus is.
Like just a hard, like looks like a shelf, like that grows on a tree or something. And
Oh yeah, maybe.
they're like quite hard, and that some of them aren't annual ones, so they'll just grow layer on layer, and then you get like algae on the top eventually, I suppose.
Mm-hmm. There's probably is something growing there in those layers. Maybe I should go scrape some and see.
Yeah.
None of those are dangerous, are they?
Well, you know, just wash your hands after, you'll be fine.
Don't put it in my mouth.
Don't eat it. You'll be fine.
Well, is there anything else here you think you need to see? We're done.
Yeah, I think we've looked at the main areas. I was hoping like that one of them would have like slightly different looking spores, but they do look pretty similar. There are different spore shapes, but yeah, not in these two.
All these spores look like garlic.
Yeah.
Garlic cloves. That's what they look like to me.
Yeah,
or
they do.
It could be getting close to dinner, one or the other.
Like just hungry.
Yeah, I could just be hungry, but they look like garlic cloves to me.
But yeah, that's the main place where stuff is happening, is on the gills. So, yeah, maybe in the autumn when there's like loads of mushrooms around, we can find some ascomycetes as well, which is a different phylum and look at those. And yeah.
Well, we have looked at slime molds before here, and I still
Ooh.
have some. Anna, who was here in the channel earlier, was talking about the morel that she'd first seen. Sent me some slime mold, and we actually had some of that mounted. And I probably still have some of the original material around.
Oh, that's
So
very.
we've looked at that before, and they are very spiky looking little cells. Or if you just go on the Instagram for the channel here, somewhere I have an Instagram thing, this thing. There's some old pictures of those as well. So I still haven't planted them. Oh, she's still here. Hi, Anna. I still haven't planted them. How long will they last? I'm under the impression they'll last for as long as I want from talking to Maiko. Okay, well, we should find a person to raid probably and let you get some rest.
I'm just looking at chat. Is this the mycelia or the gills or pinheads? Nipplepotamus is asking.
The gills.
The gills, yeah. What else? Would you find diatoms in peat?
There are some probably in peat. It's probably not out of the question. Okay, let's find somebody to raid. Since I don't see any other mushroom people on, we could just do Songbirder. They're
Yay!
doing a nature walk.
Yep. I'm not trying to kill you with mushroom smelling Midna. It's not true. It's not true. Just nearly happens sometimes.
Are all of those spores or part of the gills too? Yeah, so this is all spores that are attached to the gill. So it's like the gill is a bladed-like structure, and this is actually the outer edge of the, like the edge that would be facing the ground. So.
Thank you for looking at mushrooms in the SEM. This is very cool.
Yeah, I'll try to find some that are a little bit more diverse next time. We'll see what we can do. This was very fun, and also it's always very fun for me to have like streams where I'm co-streaming with somebody. So if you're not following Maiko Learning, also you should definitely give them a follow and check out her streams.
Thank you.
There's another link for those. She generously hung out with us here to talk and answer questions about mushrooms, and we didn't do any real planning. I just sent a message to her like a little before I started streaming, like, hey, I'm gonna put some mushrooms in, so she didn't have any prep time.
I've always got time for mushrooms, always.
There you go. All right. Well, thanks everybody. I'll do this ending screen thingy. I think I will anyway. And then we're gonna raid.
Yeah, my streaming schedule is blank. I will be streaming again.
All right. Stream's over.
Hey, that was very cool.